Swerve Strickland defends his AEW World Championship against Will Ospreay. And here's the thing. This was a match that I think had a lot of people sort of torn. It was 50-50. Some people were expecting Ospreay. Some people were expecting Swerve. Reg, I want to start off with how you felt about this match.
You know, coming into this, there's a lot of talk about Will Ospreay and if he should win this match and he should be world champion and all this stuff. And Swerve was kind of, people had him messed up. They were like not giving him his due. I'm like, you guys don't understand. Swerve is one of the best wrestlers in the world too. Like, and he'll show you this match right here, the counters, the strikes, the I know the next move you're going to make before you're going to make it, and I'm going to counter you before you even try to make it. The psychology in this match was off the charts. This was probably Swerve's best performance in AEW, definitely as world champion. Ospreay, when he his desperation and like when he's like fighting from behind, even though he's Ospreay and always dominating, is so crazy. People talk all week and every time an Ospreay clip goes crazy about how he doesn't sell, how he doesn't blah, blah, blah. But he was selling his ass off all over this match. I think the counters are really sold this match for me, Denise. There was moments where I'm like, oh, whoa. And they're just like going back and forth, hitting moves, hitting all these spots. The moment where Ospreay's in dying desperation and he tries to hit the hidden blade on Swerve and Swerve just catches him and is just like, not today, son. That signified Swerve's championship reign for me. That was like, oh, this guy's here. He's a big dog, and you're going to have to bring a house full with bombs and fire to beat this guy. Amazing match, Denise. I don't know like what to say. It was great.
There was a lot of really great stuff in it. You know what I really enjoyed too? There was a moment where they both kept dodging each other's moves. Yeah. It was like you just kept seeing them like miss because they kept yeah, that's exactly what they were doing. And you mentioned this being Swerve's best match, at least for sure as AEW World Champion. And I'm trying to think because I feel like Swerve has the best chemistry with guys that he has a history with.
Yeah.
And we've seen that so many times with who? We have Darby and with Hangman and now with Will Ospreay. I feel like the more that Swerve is familiar with the opponent, the better the matches are.
Yeah, it plays into that psychology thing, Denise, and kind of what his character represents. We know him as this methodical, he's going to break you down. It feels like he really studies his opponents. He watches his matches. He watches their past matches to know what mistakes he made so he won't make them again. It just shows how smart of a wrestler he is. Ospreay is also kind of in the same way of like, he's going to know every move that you're going to make just because he's such a professional. But this time, Swerve just having that little bit extra was so good.
You know what I also enjoyed about this is that even though Will Ospreay did not win, which again I had said like he's not going to win, like they're going to let this keep playing out with Swerve. Definitely. I feel like had they taken the title away from Swerve today, I think it would have felt like they were sort of pulling the rug underneath him and not really giving him like a full honest to God chance at the AEW World Championship. But what I love though was that even though Ospreay did not win, he kind of had this match won at one point. As a matter of fact, the referee was down and we basically saw him get a visual pin in this match. And then you also had the added addition of Don Callis, who kind of, screwed things up for him a little bit because Will Ospreay was handling his shit. And then all of a sudden he comes back in with the screwdriver, making a call back to last year's Forbidden Door with the screwdriver. So in a way, you can also kind of blame Don Callis for getting involved and this BS shit of him sort of distracting Will Ospreay here. So in towards the end, when we had all of those near falls, there was at least 3 times where I thought, oh, this is it. This is over. There was one particular finish that I would have loved more than the finish that they actually did. Mm-hmm. And it was the moment where Swerve, he had countered the what was it? He had countered Will Ospreay at one point, and then he basically rolled him up and it looked like he was about to get the pin there and then he didn't, and then the match continued for like several more minutes. But it was in that moment where I did think, oh, it was when he went for the Tiger Driver. Thank you. It was when he went for the Tiger Driver and Swerve countered that and he rolled him up really quickly, and I felt like that was going to be the finish, and I actually would have liked that finish more because it was almost like if Swerve was using that adrenaline that Will Ospreay had against him. So I thought that was actually going to be the finish.
Yeah, no, that would have been a good thing. But I think what I liked about what they did was they added shenanigans. And usually I don't like shenanigans, but for Will Ospreay's character and that Don Callis coming out with the screwdriver got him off of his game. And that's going to play into the stories. Usually, if you watch a badass Ospreay, the best Ospreay matches, there's no shenanigans. It's two guys in the ring battling it out. When he became IWGP World Champion, it's just him and Okada going at, it's no extras, anything of that. So have that in here, have a kind of an American main event, his first American pay-per-view main event, and to go like that, I think adds on to it of like, Swerve's been saying, you're not ready for this, you're not understanding, you can't carry the world of this. And so the added thing and showing that he can't keep up with that adds on to Ospreay's story.
And they really sold the desperation in Will Ospreay. I truly, honest to God, they made you believe that that was it. Like he went his full gas tank and beyond that. Like he was running on empty. And I truly bought that. And so when Swerve gets his victory, I truly felt like he had taken Will Ospreay to the maximum, to the point where it was easier for me to buy that he defeated Will Ospreay.
I think that also tells another great story, Denise, because we've seen Ospreay, all the matches we've seen of Ospreay in AEW, he comes out at the end. He's looking like he can wrestle another match. He's bowed up. He's big. This time it was like he's gave everything he got and he couldn't beat the world champion. That adds on to Swerve, too, of like, you were in here with Brian, you're in here with Takeshita, you're in here with Kenny. You beat all those guys, but you came in here with me and you gave your all and I still came out on top. Shows how awesome Swerve is.
And they both needed that, right? Because you needed to know, you needed to know that Swerve as AEW World Champion could in fact beat somebody like Will Ospreay.
Exactly.
And that was part of the reason why I had said Swerve needed to get the victory here, because he really needed this kind of win. I mean, his first championship defense on a pay-per-view, it was against Christian Cage. And no shade to Christian Cage. That match was fun, but it's not Will Ospreay.
Exactly. You need a big win. And there was all this surrounding Ospreay of like, should he be world champion? I think putting him in the match, giving him this moment, but showing that you're not ready yet, dude. Swerve is the world champion for a reason. You got too much dip on your chip. You're trying to come in and become world champion already, dude. What are you thinking? I was thinking about the moment of Ospreay on the outside about to stab Nana and he forgets about it, but then he goes in that house call that Swerve hits immediately as he came in. I'm like, these guys were going at it. But yeah, I think this shows that Ospreay has a lot to go, but he could be world champion at any time. If they had a rematch next month and he won, it'd still be just as great. You know what I mean?
This made me hungrier to see Will Ospreay as champion.
Exactly.
It truly did. It made me go like, dude, he needs to be champion. I mean, I kind of already felt that way for the longest time, but this is just like another reiteration, a reminder of, hey, he really does need to be champion at some point. Like, we need to get to this because he really is that great. Right. Oh my God. Can I just say, I was so mad when they showed Daniel Garcia. I felt so bad. But dude, the action was moving so freaking fast, right? It was one of those things where like, don't turn around, you're going to miss something. And so they're doing their thing, right? Will and Swerve. And all of a sudden they're like, here's Daniel Garcia. And I'm like, bro, I don't care. Don't take the camera off of this match. What are you doing? And then later on they showed MJF and I'm like, all right, this is taking a little too long. You got to get back to the action. What are we doing here? I did not like, can I just say I didn't like that? Because at the pace that they were working at, I didn't want to miss anything.
I knew Denise didn't like that because she texted me about it.
I texted you, I didn't like that.
Denise has texted me about something she doesn't know. She's like, essentially like, ain't nobody trying to see Daniel Garcia. And I'm like, I feel you. Like, I like Daniel Garcia. That's my homeboy. But this wasn't really the time, I think,
Well, here's the other thing, too. Think about it. All right, Reg, let me ask you a question. Honest to God. If I said to you, let's say I don't know, whatever. I'm wrestling a match. And I said to you, Reg, if I become champion, I am going to give you a title shot. Mm-hmm. Wouldn't you be like, you know what? I'm going to get involved in this match and make sure she gets her win because she already promised me a title shot. And
I'm
I know
be closer to the ring, not as the same place as Sting. Like, you're up there with Sting, bro. You can't help from up there. But also, it's like, why? I like Daniel Garcia a lot. Why are we zooming in on him? Like, somebody said, I thought it was going to be Shane McMahon. I'm like, they were making it like it was somebody crazy. And I like Daniel Garcia. Don't make me do this.
Dude, at first, when they went to the camera shot, I was like, who are we looking for? Who's there? It took me forever until they zoomed into Daniel Garcia's face that I thought, oh, it's Daniel Garcia. But at first I was like, who is it?
Well, why did they do that, Denise? Just to tell the story of Dynamite?
Yeah, because he has the match with Will Ospreay for the International Championship, and then he has the promise of if Will Ospreay wins the title, he gets a title shot. Okay. You see what I'm saying?
What about the contenders for Swerve?
That's what
How come nobody was watching that wants to be
MJF?
him?
But oh no, he was technically watching Will Ospreay, right?
You know?
I guess nobody. The fans? I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know why they. I mean, it seems like they're trying to do the foreshadowing Will Ospreay thing, make us believe that he's gonna win. So he did, and then he didn't.
I was so mad though, Reg. I really was. Like, what are you guys doing?
Hilarious.
What are you guys doing? Y'all are making me hate on poor Daniel Garcia for no reason.
He didn't deserve this, man. He's just trying to watch the match up there with Steve Borden.
Alexander Fitzgerald says potential all-in matches: Swerve versus Hangman, Mariah May versus Storm, Britt versus Mercedes, MJF versus Ospreay, and possibly Nigel versus Danielson. Solid card so far. No to Nigel versus Danielson. It's got to be Swerve versus Danielson because Danielson is winning that Owen Hart Cup, guys. It's happening. It's got to happen or I'm going to be freaking pissed. Swerve versus, I already said Swerve versus Danielson. MJF Ospreay, yes. Britt versus Mercedes, yes. Mariah May versus Toni Storm, yes.
A lot of people are under the impression that Hangman's going to win this tournament, Denise. I think you're the only one. I'm on the same one that believes that.
Because I have faith. I have faith. All right. I've been saying this since day freaking one. The second that Bryan Danielson cut that promo and he said that he was tired of not winning and wanted to win and was going to have his moment, he told us in that promo he's winning.
That's also the way that
have a man. Sorry, Reg, I don't mean to cut you off, but no, you have a man with the reputation of Bryan Danielson cut that kind of a promo, tell us and make those promises, and then not have him deliver on that. You don't do that to somebody like Bryan Danielson.
I was going to say, that's also kind of the way that Bryan tells us he's going to lose, too, because he'll be like, look at this, you guys. I want to do this. I want to win. I want to be the champion. But also, he doesn't want that at all. He tells us on a weekly basis, I don't want that shit. Did he just do an interview where he was like, please don't make me the world champion? I don't want that at all.
But here's the thing, though. I know Bryan doesn't want to be AEW World Champion. He has said it a million times. I have sat through hours of press conferences where I have heard him say this. Trust me, I'm fully aware. However, Bryan Danielson tends to do things that are good for the sake of other people, whether that be the talent or the fans. And I think he recognizes that the fans do and have wanted to see him become AEW World Champion.
I think you're right, Denise. I think he's making it bigger than himself. Like, he's like, I could go out this way and just put a bunch of people over on the way out, but I know that my fans want this so much. And I just continuously see at the end of All In, Bryan with the belts doing the big yes, and everybody in the arena is doing yes. Everybody's crying. Like, how could you not get that scene, Denise? How could you not?
Bro, now I'm starting to think I should have gone to All In. Or that I should go to All In, but I can't. I don't make decisions here, guys.